So I've already spoken a lot about this in some of the previous videos about how when it comes to overcoming your fears, you have to be able to have an action plan that you're going to take in order to go through that hell to get towards the heaven, in order to overcome the fear and become the person that you need to become in order to have the results you like to have. So when it comes to taking those three types of action, we can break it down very simply in a way where you're going to be taking action so that it is most beneficial for you to get the best form of results. And if you remember earlier on, I also referred to Alex Hormozy, who is a guy within his 20s and has some crazy results in business and like literally built more wealth than McDonald's, Netflix combined, over 100 million in like his 20s. So what he actually said that I referred to back then was about how the commonality between successful people is they all make decisions, but they condense the decisions into a shorter space of time. And all they do is they make more decisions more quickly. That's literally it. So when it comes to people who are, struggling with their success, those are people that delay the decisions. They wait till later on in the future. And I believe that when it comes to taking action, it's a very similar thing where the people who are the most successful people that I've studied and I've got to surround myself with are the people that were able to condense the most amount of action and productivity into a very short space of time. And so that's what the whole thing around the three types of action is centered around. It's around how are you able to condense the most amount of action into the shortest space of time. And the way that we do it is through these three forms of action. So you want to write this down. Number one is that the worst type of action that a person can take is action that is delayed action. So that means that if, for example, you've set out an action plan for how you're going to overcome your fear or how you're going to start your business or how you're going to do anything, then you got to make sure that the time delay between when you set the intention to do the thing and when you actually do it is as short as possible. You don't want to be setting intentions for an action plan like 6 months into the future, because that pretty much means that you're not going to be able to condense all that action into the short space of time. So the worst type of action that you can take is delayed action, and the best form of action that you can take within that particular area is not delayed, but it's immediate action. You do it instantly. As soon as you possibly can, you go for it. And the reason for why you want to do it like this is because if you leave it for a longer period of time, what actually happens with the fear is that the fear just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not that the fear actually gets bigger, it's that your perception of the fear gets bigger. Because you've been focusing on it for so long and you start to give reasons as to why it's so scary, as opposed to it just being that you've done it and there's no reasons anymore, because you didn't even have the time to come up with the reasons as to why it's so scary. So that's the number one type of action you want to take. It's immediate action. The next type of action that you want to take is action that is imperfect action, because the problem that most people have is that they become perfectionists. I mean, I'll give you the best example. I was watching one of my previous videos back just to kind of see that it wasn't blurry or anything like that. I think it was like 2 videos ago, and you might have noticed in my beard I had like a little bit of I think it was a little bit of food that I had in from eating some noodles. And if I was a perfectionist, then what I would be doing is I would have cut the video out, I would do it again, and I would restart the entire thing. But for me, it's more like, look, I don't have time to do that because I've got to get through all of these videos in one weekend, doing like 50 hours of content within one weekend. And if I'm to continually look to make every video perfect, then there's absolutely no way I'm going to get to the end. And the outcome and the product is going to take like 6 months to actually deliver, as opposed to it just being, it's ready, it's not perfect, it is what it is, but it's as good as it can be right now. And then the next time when I want to recreate it or make it better, I'm going to make it so that I focus on correcting the mistakes and rectifying the mistakes that I made before. So that is the intention. But it requires a certain level of self-love and self-acceptance for you to be able to put out content, or for you to be able to take action, which is imperfect action. And if you have a level of self-hate and self-criticism, then it's going to prevent you from taking action, because you're just going to continue beating up on yourself instead of actually loving on yourself and being a good coach and having that positive relationship with you that will allow you to take action. by not necessarily being too hard on yourself, because that just immobilizes you. There's enough negative opinions out there that you'll attract anyway from taking massive action. So you don't need to be the next person that does it, because there's going to be hundreds of people that also give you that negativity. So don't need to, you're not responsible for that. You're responsible for giving yourself the positive affirmations when you're taking action, so that you're able to do so in a way which is imperfect. This isn't a pass, by the way, to go and say take action which is not to the best of your ability, because my intention when I'm doing these videos is to serve you at the highest level that I can provide right now. So it's not about doing something in a way where it's not a good job. It's about doing it to the best of your ability, but doing it imperfectly, and letting that be the beauty about it. It's kind of like showing the cracks in what you're doing. So that's the second type of action. And the third type of action is the type of action that you want to take where it's more creative action. Because a lot of people, when they take action, they're just taking the same boring, repeated action that they've seen everybody else do. And through doing that, it's going to give them the same boring results that nobody else wants. Because everybody has the same type of results. How often do you see people that have a different lifestyle, that have different things that they get to do? It's rare. And the reason why it's rare is because most people aren't willing to do the things that are the boring things, or to do the things that is the most creative forms of action that require a level of discipline and also a level of bravery and courage to do that type of action. So when we take action, we want to take action in a way where it's not the same mundane things all the time repeatedly, unless those things are working well. But if they're not working well, you have to take now creative action in changing what you're doing so that it's working better for you. So these are the three forms of action that you want to be taking: is taking imperfect, taking immediate, and taking creative action. And if you combine all these things together, I promise you, you're going to be able to overcome those fears, and you're going to be able to do so in a much faster way, to condense time and to condense all that action into a smaller time frame, so that you can have the highest leverage, and then from there you can get the best results much more sooner. So that's pretty much it. That's everything that I want to share with you when it comes to the key of courage. And you should have gone through a whole process, had an amazing breakthrough from doing some of these exercises. And by now, if you haven't already, then after this video is finished, you know that you've got certain things outside of your comfort zone that you have to go and face right now. And if you don't know how to face them, reach out to your coach. We'll be able to help you out. But you should by now know exactly how you can do that, and to do so with the three forms of action, using the fear model and the rocket ship, and all the things that you've learned in the modules over here. So please send me some feedback as well as to how you found this so far. We're always looking to improve. And if there's anything that you felt like was missing, or you need more clarity on, let us know, and we'll help you out as best as we can. But for now, if you haven't already, it's time to get into the next modules, which is the key of commitment. And the key of commitment is a huge one. There's so much that we're going to be diving into with that, and it's going to be epic, just like all the other ones have been. So I'll see you there.